Welcome to those of you who are new to this channel and those who have been with us since the beginning. Since we first started posting videos in July of 2015, we've posted almost 100 channeling videos. We've done all of this for free, and we'd like to continue to provide these videos for you. So I'm asking for your financial support in the form of a donation. You can go to susiebeiler.com/donate and creationtemple.com/donate. Your donation really says to me, hey Susie, these videos have helped me and I want to see them continue to be posted on YouTube. So if that's something that you want, if these videos have supported your spiritual growth and your ascension, and you'd like to see them continue being posted, please go to susiebeiler.com/donate or creationtemple.com/donate and give what you can from your heart. Thank you so much.
Does the soul ever go through suffering? Does the soul ever suffer?
Yes, dear one. No, it does not matter if you are following your soul path or not. The soul does not suffer if you do not follow your soul path in one incarnation or another. The soul simply continues to move forward and move into expansion. But there is no suffering at the soul level as a human would perceive and experience suffering.
How can I prevent 5G from being turned on?
What is required is what you would term a grassroots movement, where the people of planet Earth rise up and say they do not accept technology such as this. That is one way, one possible scenario in which 5G can be dismantled. Another requires an understanding of quantum mechanics and the understanding of how the signals of 5G and other electromagnetic frequencies can become entangled. Imagine that all these frequencies are going out into your atmosphere, and they are disrupted by each other, as well as by the higher frequencies of the humans contributing to the light grid. The more of these types of frequencies that are projected, the more challenging it becomes for coherence to exist in the field. And when there is a certain amount of these frequencies being projected, eventually there is a type of entanglement or non-coherence that will disrupt these frequencies from working or doing what they are intended to do. And so in some previous conversations, we have discussed that it is important to maintain the highest frequency possible, for this is your contribution to disrupting those harmful frequencies for your higher frequencies create a field of coherence that the lower frequencies cannot work harmoniously with. And so it is a bit technical to understand, but the important thing to remember and to work on is to maintain the highest state of frequency that you can, because this contributes to the healing and ascension for all of humanity as well as for planet Earth.
Was the moon landing fake, or did it really occur?
It is real and fake at the same time. So the way that it occurred was not as it has been portrayed to you. There were spacecraft involved rather than rocket ships. And so beings have been on the moon, indeed. But it was through higher technology, travel technology, not as you have seen it portrayed in movies and pictures.
So was it Neil Armstrong on the moon or somebody else?
Other people have been on the moon. It has not Neil Armstrong and the other people that are in your media. There were other humans.
There is disclosure coming out where they are describing how they were on the moon and they saw reptilian beings. Are they lying? Why would they be lying?
They have they have been involved in a certain projection, meaning that they were given access to what is on the moon, what is they have been shown certain things and even have been given the experience through technology of being on the moon or a place like the moon. Again, it is a bit confusing to explain with words. Imagine it to be somewhat similar to a virtual reality technology, but where they did not realize that they were being part of a virtual reality experiment. They did
Okay.
not put goggles over their eyes, as in virtual reality technology, but they were given the simulation or the experience of this.
Could this technology also be used with us?
To some degree, dear one, but there must be many levels of consent to this type of thing. This must be part of your soul mission, as well as consent to go through certain types of training that would leave the human vulnerable to this type of technology being used with them. Most humans do not sign up for this.
Can Prime Creator perceive himself or itself?
Yes, in a manner of speaking, although it is not through human senses as a human would perceive or know itself. It is simply a knowing, a recognition of what is, a knowing of the energy.
So Prime Creator is energy, but energy can't perceive other energy. So how does this work?
Again, it is not a perception like the human perceives. It is a knowing or a recognition. Or energy does not look through eyes, but it can attract other energy. It can meld with other energy. It can change form, change direction. And so again, the limitation of using language to describe such things. I know that I exist, but I do not see myself through human eyes.
Was there a time where Prime Creator was not aware of itself?
I will say it in this way. As I have conveyed before, I have always been, I always am, I will always be. My nature, much like your soul, is constant expansion. Energy signatures and codes are constantly reshaping and combining in new ways. So that I am always expanding. Have I always been conscious of myself? Yes, in some ways, but again, it is not the experience of a human being conscious of itself. It is an isness, a beingness. I am, and so I am, and therefore I am.
How does consciousness develop out of energy?
Consciousness always is, and yet there are new combinations of consciousness. And so when you consider the development of consciousness, this is what you are speaking of. You are speaking of new fractals, new sacred geometries, new energetic signatures, new light codes that are combining infinitely with each other in new ways, perpetually, all the time.
There is a source that says souls who are not on their soul path, or that humans who are not on their soul path, receive less support from Source, and then they develop vampiric energies. Is this true?
There is much truth to this, dear one. It is not necessarily that these souls move further away from source, but there certainly is an energetic separation that occurs in perception. So, for example, a human being who is not on their soul path consciously, many things can occur in the life of that being that cause a perceived separation to their soul. And it prevents them from being connected with their own source, their own energy. And so in this way, they do then develop unconsciously in most cases a vampiric-like energy because they are not connected to their own soul and source consciously. They will often attempt to feed off the energies of others, especially those who are of great radiance and who do have connection to source. It is not a conscious decision to separate from the soul path. It is simply most beings that come to this planet, at least in the past, this is changing to some degree. Most beings that have come to this planet have gone through a forgetting where they do not remember their soul mission, their soul path. They do not remember their powers as a human being. They do not remember their spiritual gifts. And because they come into the density of this planet and the density of this matrix, they have forgotten most of who they are.
There is a channeling that states that Prime Creator has not always been aware that it is a creator. Is this correct?
Using only language to describe something like this can be quite confusing. Because humans have assigned certain meaning to the word creator. I could say, yes, this is both true and this is not true. Recall earlier in our conversation where I have stated, I am, and therefore I am. From this understanding, it is not important to put a label to being a creator or not. I simply am. I have always known that I am. As a human's understanding of me develops, one could say that there was a time where I did not recognize myself as a creator, and now I do. But this is simply the perception of the human.
Do we simulate our experience through a hologram?
On some levels, yes, dear one. This also depends on how connected a being is with their soul, with their source, because a being that has deep connection will see through the illusion or the hologram and will see a larger perspective than a being that is only assimilating the hologram. A being that is connected with their soul has a deeper connection to source, has a deeper connection to higher consciousness. And so they are able to see outside of the limitations of the hologram. They are able to see more, a larger picture. And while it may be considered by some that they are simply seeing a larger hologram, there is a soul consciousness or a soul knowing that goes beyond illusion, that goes beyond the construction of a hologram. It is a knowing of a deeper truth. Again, this is a
Is Prime Creator being simulated from a higher source?
this is a question of perception, and so there is a yes and no answer. On one level, everything you are experiencing as a human is a simulation. On another level, there is a deeper truth and knowing that comes through your soul that transcends the simulation experience. And so if you are looking through your lens of the hologram you are in, if you are looking through your lens of simulation, then yes, everything, including myself, comes through that simulation. But if you are feeling and knowing and perceiving through your soul and through your heart, this transcends any simulated experience.
Is there a possibility that there is a higher source unknown to us that is simulating all?
It is not a higher source that is creating a simulation. Any simulation that you experience is of fourth density or below. Higher source has no interest in providing simulation. Higher source is only concerned with truth, transparency.
How probable is it to have a new financial system in my incarnation?
Yes, this is very probable, dear one, considering the timelines, and the current agenda is not to have a completely revamped financial system, but one that works better for all. And so you will still be working with money or something that represents money as a medium of exchange. And so it will have some similarities to your current system, but will be more beneficial for all beings.
How probable is it that there will be disclosure and that we will be able to see reptilians in this incarnation?
Yes, this is very probable, dear one. Some are already seeing these beings. I think you are asking, will you be seeing them in the physical, not just third eye vision? This is somewhat possible. These timelines are still fluctuating as to when and whom will be visiting planet Earth in this way. And so it is not concrete yet as to which beings will be allowed, so to speak, to have their existence here or to appear here. And it is not certain as to when, for there are many things still being worked out, and most humans are not at the consciousness where they would be ready to receive this type of visitor. So there is a long way to go, you could say, before this would be viable for the humans of planet Earth.